2 of the tutorial. So here we have where we left off last time, all the little bits of this boy. So next step is I'm going to clean up these pieces, and because I'm doing a 3-part torso, I'm actually going to take this piece and I'm going to throw it away. It's gone. I'm going to make a ball eventually for the middle to serve as the extra joint, so it'll be a lot smoother than if I use this and edit it around. It's just easier to make a ball than it is to make a ball out of something else. It's a little bit of a waste, but we needed it to get the proportions right. Now, seeing as you can see I've got my lovely knife here, make sure you're well protected, and anytime you start a new project, always make sure you got a new blade in your knife. You're more likely to slip with a dull blade than you are a sharp blade. So, gloves and safety. I just want to note, in case you noticed maybe in the last video, this in my glove, that's just like the non-slip coating, which does not add or detract anything from the cut resistance. It's just a non-slip coating, so you can grip things because these are like work gloves. But I don't really have to worry too much about that. But with that out of the way, what we're going to do first is clean up some of these edges. So just kind of cleaning out the, just straightening up the edges. Alright, so I'm not going to worry about the head right now, because I'm going to have to do a lot of fussing to get the head cap to fit right later on, so I'm not going to fuss too much with this right now. So right now, that's good. As a note, if you're not doing a 3-part torso and you're just doing a 2-part torso, obviously you wouldn't toss away this random piece that was from the middle because it wouldn't exist. I'll get into how to do a 2-part torso when I get to the torso part, because I want this to be kind of a comprehensive for general ball joint doll making, but I'll probably do a few videos like this, just kind of like a series of videos where I make a bunch of different dolls. So this will be my first one where I make this guy from beginning to end, and then I'll maybe do another one with different joints and stuff, and you know, just trying to teach all the different methods. This one will be kind of a very good comprehension because he's got a lot of joints. But now that I have finished cleaning that up, I'm going to do a quick job of tossing up this. Alright, so now it's nice and clean. I have this little cup. It's just from old silicone, and I cleaned it out because it makes good little storage vessels. And I keep my pieces in there when I'm not working on them, because my cat, as you probably saw his paw pop up during the time lapse there, he likes to steal little pieces if I leave them out. So I've got to make sure he doesn't. So now that we've roughly cleaned out the pieces here, the next step will be drilling the pieces. So I'm going to do a quick cut and set up my Dremel so that I can do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so now that I've got my cutting board out here, I'm going to first take all these pieces and just mark in the center of them, just to make sure I try to get as close to the center as I can for drilling, because it's easier to kind of work with a mark than it is to do it eyeballing it. So you may have noticed with these feet pieces I'm doing just ones on the side rather than the middle. That's because I'm not going to drill through the middle of it. I'm going to do through the sides. I haven't fully decided for these pieces either, so I might hold off drilling these wrist pieces till later. The pieces I'm not drilling right now, which is this one because it already has a hole, and the head pieces I'm just going to put in my little container, just so they're out of the way. And then as I finish drilling each piece, I'm just going to toss them in here just to kind of keep track of what I'm doing. So I will get out my Dremel. I'll just be one more. Alright, so I just want to say here, we have all pieces ready. I've marked them where I want to drill. I'm just going to go over, again, safety, because safety is important. Wear a glove, or 2 gloves. I just wear one in my non-dominant hand. Mask for dust. Safety glasses to protect your eyes from debris. It really sucks to get a piece of Sculpey or resin or whatever you're drilling or cutting in your eye. It stings. Trust me, just wear glasses. So just wear safety glasses. You don't want to have that. Now when it comes to drilling, you can use like a hand drill, or you can even just take a drill bit and just like twirl it in spot. It will cramp your hand, but you can do that. I've done that with smaller pieces when I didn't want to bust out my drill and I just needed one piece drilled. But in terms of drilling, you can use like a proper drill, like this one here. I just use my Dremel again because it's not as loud and it's a little lighter, so it's less hefty to hold. If you are going to work on casting and making dolls and try to sell them, I would recommend investing in a Dremel. Just in terms of, it makes things so much easier and faster because you can cut the pieces way faster, you can drill them way faster, you can do so many things in terms of getting things done. But it is a bit of a pricey thing, so if you don't have the money, I understand. A hand drill will work. As I said, you can even manually do it just with a drill bit, just twirling it in place. It takes a lot of time, and your hand might cramp up. You might need to take breaks. I recommend taking breaks if you do something like that, but it can be done. My drill, the other one I showed, I picked up from Walmart for $20 Canadian. So they're not expensive drills. This was a bit more pricey. I think this was $80 on sale. So definitely invest in a rotary tool if you can afford it. But if you can't, it's fine. This one I have is a Mastercraft, in case you're wondering. It's just what was on sale, and it had a lot of extra little bits to use, and it's done me really well. I haven't had any problems with it. But yeah. Again, make sure you are being safe. Put on your safety glasses, put on your mask, and let's get a drillin'. actually going to do with this piece, just because it's got a bit of an angle here. I'm going to actually trim it a bit, because I don't need it to be that sharp of an angle when I actually do the joint, because it's going to have a hip joint there. I'll do the same thing with this one. There we go. Oh, whoops. No, I'll have to put that later. I'm just cleaning up these pieces because I don't need them to be as sharp of an angle. And I'll probably be cutting this anyways, and it's just to give me a little extra room because my drill isn't quite long enough to get through all this one. I want to clean off my little board here. Very soft. You may have noticed that a couple times that the piece slipped from my grip and was just spinning on the bit. Normally when I'm drilling, I do one half one way and then one half the other, as you saw. And when you hit, like, break through that little barrier between those two sides, it does tend to kind of jump a little bit because it's suddenly, oh, there's nothing there. And so when that happens, it's kind of it feels odd and different, so I tend to let go of the piece instinctually, just kind of, I don't know what happened there, but I don't want my hand to be in the way, kind of thing. Because I'd much rather lose a piece than injure myself. So far, I've only lost a piece maybe once by dropping it like that, and that was just because the drill was a bit too high speed and it flung the piece against the wall. But yeah, definitely make sure that you are doing things safely, but that's why I drill things slowly, so I can kind of expect and anticipate when it's going to do that jump when it breaks through the other side. But it can be sometimes hard to like guess when that's going to happen. I'm going to really toss all this into my hand and into a garbage can. Alright, I am back. I have swapped out my piece. So, I'm not going to drill these the same way. I'm not going to go whoop whoop through them. These ones are going to be the little feet pieces. I may change how the feet are going to be for this guy later on, but for now I just want them to be little pointy nubs. I'll work out how to stand him later. I may add a tail for him. We'll see. If I do, it'll be a fun little, hey, more joints. Because this guy doesn't have enough. But these are going to be the little feet. And so basically I'm going to drill through them sideways, and then I'm going to use my little cutting tool to through there to get like a straight edge. You can do that also with a hacksaw. Again, you don't have to use a Dremel. You can just take a hacksaw and go and drill it sideways that way as well. You don't need to have a Dremel with the this attachment. That's what I use, and I find the best for working on stuff. Another thing to note when you're working specifically with Sculpey, I don't know about other clays because I primarily use Sculpey. It's a little softer when you're cutting and drilling into it. So you have to make sure that you keep your pieces clean and you're not like getting it all jammed up with pieces, because then it can just stop running because it's softer, so it's kind of cushioning the movement. So make sure, as you saw, I was pulling in and out with the drill bit as I drilled, and that's to make sure it doesn't get jammed and doesn't get stuck with a bunch of pieces that are good at going nowhere. Alright, so back to it. So for these pieces, because they're so small, I'm going to rest them against the table and they'll drill straight down. So you want to make sure that your cuts are perpendicular to the little drill holes, so because these are basically to hold a post that will hold the hook. There we go, that's that. So you want to make sure that the cut is perpendicular to where the hole is. So it's like that, because that's where the hook's going to rest. That's where you're going to have that little hinge for the feet. I'm going to round this out later and make it more of a proper joint, and that will be the next step. Will be cleaning up these pieces, making joints, things like that. Exciting, that's what everyone's been waiting for. But important thing to note is take things slow when drilling. Make sure your fingers are away from any ends that the drill might go through, and to pull out and push back in. You want to take it through like incrementally. You don't want to go through all at once, because then you're gonna have it jam, you're gonna have it slip, and you might hurt yourself, and that's not what we want. We stay in safety. So take your time, and if you are using drill and power tools, use your safety equipment, use glasses, safety glasses, use a sand, use a mask. I can English, and you'll have a better time. Alright, so with those pieces done, I'm going to clean off my desk, and I'm going to move on to the next part, which will be cleaning up our pieces and start forming some joints.